Hockey season has officially started as of today. The Global Series is one-sided, but we're not talking hockey. We're talking college football. Jake here along with me. Team Money here. We've got week 6 that started technically last night with 2 games. 2 games tonight. One of them we are picking. And we got a whiteout game to talk about, but it's not the whiteout you're thinking. There's a whiteout in the city of Ames, Iowa. We're going to get to that later on. But first, we've got 15 or 20 games prior to that. This is all the games that we've got this week. One of the games that I'm really looking forward to this week, and we haven't even picked a game of the week. Jakes thinks it should be Missouri and A&M. Granted, that is the only ranked versus ranked game this week, so it's not a bad pick. However, I'd like to argue Navy and Air Force. Commander-in-Chief's trophy, first leg in a series that dates back, I don't even know how far. And the winner of this takes a 1-0 lead over both Navy, which whoever wins this, Navy or Air Force or Army, depending on who wins this game. But before we get to that, we've got wrong one. We've got the Syracuse Orange traveling to undefeated UNLV. And I'm just going to throw this out there before we even dive into this game any little bit farther. When I thought UNLV's quarterback called it quits because UNLV failed to provide $100,000 that the college allegedly promised, I thought UNLV was done. 100%. Am I the only one thinking that?
No. Oh, mainly because I guess I don't know what the backup in that situation is, but hey, they're still undefeated at this point. Now, well, how long will it continue? Who knows?
There's actually a third game tonight. I didn't even know that. But, oh, wait, hold on. There's 3 games tonight? Hell?
Well, we got a comment saying, go state. Well, now, which state are we talking about here? Marshall.
Hey, Marshall, how we doing? So, yeah, we've got Iowa State. We'll predict that game later on down the road. But we do have UNLV and Syracuse. Looking at this game real quick, like I said, I thought UNLV's season was done when their quarterback called it quits. They have proved me wrong, and they welcomed in Fresno State and absolutely dominated them. Now, they're going up against another power conference, another power team in the Syracuse Orange. This game can be really close. The line for this game right now, it started at 4.5, but is currently sitting at 5.5 for UNLV. Jake, what do you think about this game?
Well, honestly, considering that even with all the stuff that UNLV has gone through, or this or that or the other thing, I still like their chances at home. Especially because when last I really watched Syracuse, they kind of dribbled down their own leg at the end of the game. And if I remember right, that was also the same time, that was the game against, I want to say it was the Friday night game they played. I think it was against Stanford.
Yep, Stanford, where they lost 26-24. Their only loss on the season. Let's throw that out there.
True. But you're going into a, tougher environment, in my opinion. UNLV and Syracuse are probably closer together than they aren't, but I'm still going to go with the Rebels on this one. Give me UNLV.
That's actually a really good pick. Whoa. There we go. I'm going to be in agreement here. Yes, I do. I do like Syracuse. I like their style of play. I think they're going to have a fantastic season. I think UNLV is just on a freaking tear this year.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to continue that. A dominant win over Houston, a dominant win over Utah Tech, beating a Kansas team that we've now realized are just frauds this year. I've said that all season long after that game. I still stand by that statement. And then they went in and dominated Fresno. And then they welcomed Fresno State and dominated them. Granted, we both know how Houston is, and we both know how Kansas is. Utah Tech, that's kind of Fresno State being their first conference opponent, and then them actually dominating. Syracuse has their what? They've already played 2 conference games. It looks like Georgia Tech and Stanford are both ACC, and so is Syracuse. Interesting, but we're beyond that. I'm gonna pick UNLV. Elijah is currently peeking up here. I'm gonna scroll all the way over to the left. He doesn't have his pick yet. I wonder who he's gonna pick. I guess we'll find out later. Alrighty, my game of the week. My personal game of the week. First leg of the Commander-in-Chief's trophy. You've got the Navy Midshipmen, the Rams, as they're nicknamed, taking on the Air Force Falcons, the king of the skies, versus the kings of the water. Who takes the first leg of the Commander-in-Chief's trophy? That's actually one of the first games that kick off tomorrow afternoon, I should say. Let me pull up the line for this game real quick. I probably should filter FBS because I'm surprised that Navy nor Army are ranked, which is really shocking. There it is. The line for this game, Jake, is currently in favor of the King of the Seas at 10 even. But this game is being played at Falcon Stadium in actually it's literally called the USAF Academy, Colorado. So it's not even a specific city. That's literally it just called the United States Air Force Academy. So take that.
I want to say, if I remember it, I think it's technically in like Fort Collins, Colorado, is where the Air Force is.
I thought it was Colorado Springs.
It's somewhere like that. I'm not 100% sure, but regardless, kind of coming back to this game here. I mean, like I say, 9.5-point favorites going into, Air Force, which honestly I really haven't seen a lot of their games this year to really understand, or Navy for that matter. But
let's just also point out that Army and Navy are in the same conference together, and yet they're both undefeated. Let's just throw that out there really quick, because that's an interesting thing we should probably keep an eye on.
Especially if they keep being undefeated as we get into like weeks 10, week 11, week 12,
just
the end of November.
Just imagine that Army-Navy game. Because that Army-Navy game is after conference play. So imagine this. Army-Navy can play for the American Conference title. Then they play against each other in the Army-Navy game.
That would be very intriguing, not even going to lie there, but give me the midshipmen in this one.
You're taking the midshipmen. Personal reasons, or are you just like what you see out of Navy better?
Well, I mean, honestly, I have family members that were in both the Air Force and the Navy back in the day, but I don't know. I just like Navy's chances here, especially because, again, Navy has a little something more to play for. Granted, I will say Air Force, I think, nothing would be better than, taking down a rival, especially part of the armed forces and stuff like that. But if Navy can get this done, who knows? Like I say, we could have a potential chance where we see either one or both of Navy and Army for the AAC.
The AAC, yep.
Yep. So, and then of course Army Navy afterwards. So,
yeah, this is a game that can literally change an entire season. I want to bring up something that happened that bring up something from last year. Let me bring up Wikipedia really quick, guys. Wikipedia. Guys, if you guys do want to look at all of the past games throughout that happened. Let me try that again. If you guys want to look at how teams did throughout the years, I always recommend Wikipedia. You can also compare teams. So like how I'm going to do here. I clearly don't know how to spell, because I spelled Navy and not Navy. Navy and Air Force. So looking at the last few games, Air Force has won the last 4. And this series goes all the way back consecutively to 1972, where Air Force has had an 11-game stretch and Navy has had a 7-game stretch. And then they flipped back and forth, it looks like, a couple times. So this game is a real deciding factor as to how the team play, as how both teams play the remainder of the season, I believe. Because looking at their records from these years, Navy went 3-10 in 2018, 11-2 both in 2019. So yeah, depending on how this game's going to go, really is going to decide it at the end. Personal reasons is the reason why I'm taking this one. Go Navy, beat Air Force. Even though I love the Falcons. All right. Next one up down the list, you have the Texas A&M Aggies as they play host to ACC rival, basically right next door, the Missouri Tigers. The line for this game is only 2.5. So this game's going to be really good down to the end. Both teams. Go ahead.
Like I say, low key, that's why I said this could be the game of the day here, because if you look at that line here, you're saying it's a -2. Missouri, if they take down A&M, they have a really good track towards the SEC championship. But if A&M can take down Missouri, and if A&M can win out or, have a couple other bigger wins, who knows? That could be very interesting to watch going into, the BCS standings and, the college football playoff standings here in November to keep an eye on, because I have a realistic chance you could see 2, maybe 3 SEC teams in. Especially if, this stays the way it is, because in my opinion, Bama's obviously the number 1. Georgia is still number 2 in my opinion, but they are shaky as heck. And then you have Missouri. A&M has stepped up pretty well. I mean, those are 4 teams right there that could be added in the end. So that's why this is kind of an important game. But anyway, I'll let you go ahead and continue.
So you mentioned A&M winning this game. Let's entertain both teams winning this game really quick. A&M up 4-1. Or A&M is already 4-1 with an extra game played because Missouri already has had one of their bye weeks. They think both teams technically get 2, technically 3 throughout the year because of week 0 technically counting as a bye week. This game's going to be really close. Looking at the matchup predictor, Missouri is favored by 51.8% to win the game. Texas A&M is favored at 2.5. That line has not moved. This is also going to be at the second largest stadium in all of college football, I believe. I think Michigan's the first. Kyle Field's the second largest.
They're definitely top 5. Kyle Field is definitely top 5. I just can't remember exact order right now.
Yeah. I want to know, who do you got? Who do you got for week 1? or for this one?
Ooh. What was the line you said again?
2.5
For Mizzou?
for A&M.
Ooh, A&M.
Mizzou is a higher ranked road underdog, which is interesting.
And you know what? Oh, man, this is going to be so...
I've already got who I want to pick.
You know what?
Go
Go
ahead.
for it, Trev. Okay.
Because this... do you want to go or do you want me to?
Just go for it.
Because this game is not a night game, I'm taking the Tigers on the road. And actually, I'm going to make up my upset.
You know what, Trev? You literally took the words right out of my mouth. I was thinking Mizzou in the upset because this is a great upset game regardless of which side you're choosing here.
Exactly.
Because this game, for all intents and purposes, could be a very big indicator for the SEC for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Especially if both of them can get it done. But yeah, because if Mizzou was going to be favored, I'd probably going into it, my gut said Mizzou because I trust Mizzou a little bit more than A&M, but it is at Kyle Field, and with them being a -2.5, I mean that's just juicy enough for me to jump on it without being too crazy.
Yeah. And it looks like Elijah has made his picks for UNLV, Navy. I'm thinking he's going to do his Missouri and A&M here in just a few seconds. But we do have a difference. He's going to take Syracuse on the road as an upset. And he's agreeing with us in Navy over Air Force.
Alrighty. Like I said, we'll continue to check back as updates are available.
Yep, we will keep doing that. And why don't we continue with the military academies? I figured, Navy's playing, they'll play Air Force. Why not throw in Army? They will travel to Tulsa, Oklahoma to take on the Golden Hurricane. Let's bring that game up real quick here. There we go. Sharing the tab. There they are. The Army Black Knights 3-0 in conference play as they travel to Tulsa, Oklahoma to take on the Golden Hurricane at Chapman Stadium. I think this one's kind of easy. I think this one's kind of easy.
Yeah, Army at -11. I mean,
now the question is, do you take it as your lock? That's the real question here. Is Army going to be your lock, or do you have another game as your lock?
You know what? Screw it. Let's make Army my lock then.
There you go.
Mainly being because I have another game in mind, but if it's going the way I think it's going, yeah, that's probably not gonna. It's probably gonna be too high. So.
Well, we also did agree. We also made a rule. Locks cannot be FCS level due to the fact we don't know what the line is until the day of the game.
You could think Portland. Yeah, you could think Portland State versus USD for that one just because, and on top of that, too, that's a wash because, as I've mentioned before, if there's a game that ever gets canceled, it just gets washed out anyway, so.
Yeah. And it looks like Elijah does have his Missouri and his Missouri A&M, Army, and Tulsa pick. It doesn't look like there's differences, so he's going to take Missouri as his regular pick, and he's going to take Army as a regular pick as well. So his lock is still somewhere in the mystery line down the road.
All right.
As we keep going down the line, how about we do another battle that involves an ACC opponent? That is going to be... I wanted to make sure we picked games that were like really, 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 really close. This one, I don't think you can get any closer other than it being basically even. The Boston College Eagles travel to UVA, to Charlottesville, Virginia, Scott Stadium, and take on the Virginia Cavaliers. 4-1 versus 3-1, 1-0, and 1-0 in conference. Holy shit, I picked a coin toss.
But hey, that makes it fun, you know? It's not
I
always
know,
fun
it
when you
really
pick
does.
blowouts every week. You
Oh,
know?
yeah. All right. This one's so okay, let me look at the over under here. The over under is 52 and a half. So that doesn't really help my pick, does it? I think I'm going to go. This is 100% going to be a difference game. I already fucking feel it. I'm going to go Boston College because they had that close game with Missouri a few weeks ago. They also actually had a close game over Western Kentucky, which that game shouldn't have been close. But looking at Virginia, they have a loss to Maryland, a close win over Wake, and then a dominant win over Coastal Carolina, which granted, that game should be a dominant win. So both these teams have close wins and a loss to boot. So, Jake, who do you think? Boston College or Virginia?
Oh, this is such a coin flip. With it being, let's see here, like you said, they're coming off Coastal Carolina, Western Kentucky. I think I'm going to lean towards Boston College in this one.
Ooh, so we don't have a difference between us just yet.
However, I don't feel confident about it.
I have a feeling Elijah's going to go the opposite direction with this one. No, he's picking Boston College as his lock! No way! Wow! He picks Boston College as his lock.
Putting them on the table, I see. I like it.
Put the cojones on the table. Hey, shit you love to see. Alrighty, how about we take a dip to one of the hardest conferences to pick? That is the Big Ten. Let's scroll down here. I think I already know who we're all going to pick in this one, because I know that we hate the team that is on the home side of this stand. That is going to be the 4-0 Scarlet Knights out of the place that birthed college football, Rutgers, New Jersey. They will travel to Lincoln, Nebraska to take on the Cornshuckers. Yes, you heard me right.
By the way, Iowa's corn is better.
Oh, 100%. 100% Nebraska. You can't even say your corn's better. Your corn's nasty. For that freaking reason, Rutgers.
Yeah, I'm still going to go with Nebraska, though, just because it's at home against Rutgers. As much as I hate to say it, but until I see Rutgers go in there and take down Nebraska, because in my opinion, this is one of the first times I've seen Rutgers actually look like a very good team. Since I think they joined the Big Ten, honestly, in football, that they're at this point. So if they beat Nebraska, like I say, I'm hoping Rutgers wins, but I'm picking Nebraska for obvious reasons here.
I'm picking Rutgers because 3 o'clock, it's not a night game. The crowd's not going to be in it. I think Rutgers shuts that crowd up early, and they run away with it. It's not. It would be an upset because Rutgers is an underdog on the road, but I don't think Nebraska is going to be ready for this Rutgers team that's actually kind of decent this year, and they might. Don't quote me on this. But it's going to come down to 4 teams at the end of the season for the Big Ten title game to make an appearance. Rutgers is going to be up there. Rutgers will be up there. Don't quote me on that. but I think Rutgers will be up there. And Elijah is going to also pick Nebraska. So I'm going to be the only one rocking the Scarlet. That's fine. I need a difference game. I'll take it. Alrighty. Next up, how about we dip back into the Big 12? And let's pull this up real quick. Dip back into the Big 12 as it's going to be... I can't see it, so I'm looking for it. The West Virginia Mountaineers, they are going to travel to Stillwater, Oklahoma to take on the Cowboys. Now, Oklahoma State, oh dear God, I don't know what the hell happened. I thought Oklahoma State was actually going to play pretty decent against Kansas State. No, Kansas State dominated that entire second half, outscoring Oklahoma State, basically shutting them out in the second half. And then West Virginia beating a Kansas team that we all know, I've said it once, I will say it again, have been frauds all year long. West Virginia 1-0 in conference. Oklahoma State, they lose this game, you can count, Jake, this was your Big 12 title pick. One more loss for Oklahoma State, and they're out of contention for the Big 12 title.
Well, that just also goes to show how unpredictable the Big 12 is.
Yeah. But with that being said, we're looking at West Virginia, Oklahoma State. Who do you got in this one?
Well, what's the lines and all that stuff here?
Line for this game is a -3 for Oklahoma State, the home side.
I'm still going to probably pick Oklahoma State in this one, but however, if they do lose this game, I would not be shocked either. Because, well, let's be honest here, though. If Oklahoma State continues to disappoint, or, like this year they don't quite meet expectations, do you think they fire Gundy?
Mike Gundy will be gone if they don't. Because, well, actually, no. Because look at last year. Last year, they actually played well enough to make the title game. Granted, the title game was against Texas. We all know how that went. They got dominated. But I don't think Mike Gundy's gone after this year if they start 0-3. Next year, if they start 0-3, that might be where you start talking up firing. I'm gonna also agree with Oklahoma State. West Virginia, I'm not hopping on that West Virginia hype train. I'm not. However, this game being in Stillwater, I think West Virginia, well, actually, if this game was in Morgantown, I would probably hop on the West Virginia hype train because West Virginia is really difficult to beat in their own stadium. Oklahoma State's kind of been more on the easier side recently to beat in their barn. I mean, look at a loss at home against Utah, barely beating Arkansas State, and dominating San Diego State. So yeah, looking at two really good teams right here in Arkansas and Utah. They lost to Utah and then the win over Arkansas. I think Oklahoma State's got this at home. I'm rocking with the Cowboys. And we await Elijah's when he decides to get his put in. Next game up. See if I could find it. It's going to be a journey to Seattle, Washington. Where did that game go? There it is. As the number 10th ranked Michigan Wolverines will travel to take on the Washington Huskies. Now, Jake, I'm not going to share this yet because I want your absolute shock when I show this. What do you think the line is for this game?
Judging by that, I'm going to say Washington is favored by more than 10.5.
Washington is favored, but no, it's only by 1.5.
Okay.
But it's shocking that the number 10th ranked team in the country is going on the road and are a 1.5 point underdog.
But here's the thing, though, Trevor. Remember, Minnesota last week. They were a
Yeah.
messed up onside kick away from potentially blowing that game.
Oh, yeah. 100%. I think Michigan should have lost that game.
So I think going into this week, yeah, sure, it was an ugly win, but now you're traveling from east to west. You're going to be taking on a Washington team who, by the way, you beat for the national championship last year.
Oh, shit, that's right!
This is the Natty rematch.
When was the last time that we've had a national championship rematch outside the SEC? When was that? I want to know now. If you can tell me that.
It's been a minute. But yeah, like I say, this is the national championship game rematch.
I think if I remember correctly, the last national championship rematch had to be two Big 12 schools. Because remember when Texas used to be good, Nebraska used to be good. Oklahoma, all three of those teams were talks of making the BCS national championship back then. This, I believe, is the first this is actually the first national championship game outside of the SEC that is a rematch in mid-season. This has to be.
But you know what, though? With that being said, and also with this being the Peacock featured game of the week, or the NBC Saturday night game, give me the Huskies.
Really?
Screw it. Give me the Huskies because, again, Michigan hasn't shown me enough to be like, okay, they're contenders still. Because, again, yeah, sure, they got beat by they got beat by Texas. But again, they should have lost to Minnesota. There's another game in there I'm trying to remember too that was kind of sloppy that should have been more of a victory.
USC.
So yeah, it was one of those things where the last few games they haven't looked great. Plus, with all the stuff going on up there in Michigan, not to mention they have to travel to Washington, which is never an easy trek.
Let's also point something out really quick. This is Michigan's first road game of the season.
Oh, wow.
And they're going into one of the toughest environments in the Big Ten now. Because Washington was one of the toughest in the Pac-12. They're carrying that over into the Big Ten.
And also, national championship rematch. The fans and the, students are going to be juiced and ready to go. In prime time, national game of the week, let's go Huskies. Let's knock out Michigan, please. Sincerely, the rest of the Big Ten.
Elijah has finished his sheet. I'm just going to scroll up here so that way you guys don't see what the rest of his picks are.
And we'll just go down as we go.
He is going to pick Michigan on the road.
I mean, it makes sense, though. I mean, they are still the defending national champs. They are still a good team, but I just feel like this could be one of the upsets this week. I could feel it in the air tonight, Phil Collins.
I'm going to go on the side of Elijah. I'm going to agree with Michigan.
Okay.
Because the last time I picked Washington versus Michigan, we all know how that went. That cost me the title last season.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Hold on, I want to make sure I point the right direction. To that mother right over here. He's going the opposite of what he picked during that game. So you know what? I'm doing the same thing. I'm taking the Maize and Navy. Give me the Michigan Wolverines. And that would be difference number 3 on the day because Elijah picked Syracuse earlier in the video. So I've got so you and me have a difference between Elijah. I've got a difference between you and Elijah, and now me and Elijah have a difference versus you. So the best we can do is 3-0 is 2-1, I believe. Because
or with our luck, we'll all 3 cancel each other out and nothing happens.
Fair.
Let's be honest here. That's the way this year's been going so far. So,
God. Yeah,
the month of September was woofed up for picks. But anyway.
Yeah. All right. How about this next game out of the ACC? If I could find it. Where is it at? Hello? No way. This game is not on here. Where the hell? Hold on. There. Oh, God. Okay. So it actually is back up in the... So we're going to go back up to the noon slot. The Pitt Panthers travel to Chapel Hill to take on the North Carolina Tar Heels. North Carolina coming off a 1-point loss to Duke. That's the reason I am now trailing in standings. So real quick, before we continue, let's take a look at the standings. I am now a game behind. I went from 2 games ahead of both you and Elijah. Now I'm a game back. I regret my life decisions. We're going to move forward, and we're going to look at Pitt and North Carolina. Pitt is a 2.5 favorite on the road in Chapel Hill. Pitt is also coming off of 4 straight wins. This is their 2nd road game of the season. Their toughest win coming against Cincinnati, only beating them by 1 point. Yes, I am not saying West Virginia is a tough opponent. They are going to be easy to beat this season. I rest my damn case. I hope that doesn't bite me in the ass. Jake,
it probably will.
Pitt or North Carolina?
I'm going to go Pittsburgh on this one. North Carolina are coming off of 2 really just...
bad losses.
Yeah. Especially because if I remember right, they actually held like a 10-point lead against Duke. Granted, they were in Durham, which, if you know anything about Duke versus North Carolina, it usually turns out to be a good matchup.
They had a 17-0 lead at halftime.
So, yeah. And then they ended up losing it by 1 in overtime.
No.
In regulation. Yeah.
Because this play right here is the game-winning touchdown.
Yep.
That I have paused.
So Trev doesn't get his channel taken down.
Yup. Because fuck you, ESPN. Don't have free use laws. Actually, it's not ESPN. It's Disney. I got to remember that.
Mm.
You don't want to fuck with the mouse. Fuck with the mouse.
No.
You get the gloved middle finger. All right. I wanted to take a look at some of the other group of 5 opponents because this one's going to be kind of fun to look at. This one's going to be the East Carolina Pirates as they travel.
By the way, Trev, did you pick the game?
Oh yeah, I agreed with Pittsburgh.
Okay. I just couldn't remember if I heard that or not, so I just wanted to make sure.
Nope, you're good. I went with Pitt as well, basically because of the same reason.
Okay.
All right. All right, so East Carolina is traveling to Charlotte to take on the 49ers in Charlotte at Jerry Richardson Stadium. I don't know what I just did. And we're back. All right. East Carolina is an 8-point favorite on the road. I'm agree with the purple. The only time I'm actually going to say this, I'm going with the purple and gold. Give me the Pirates.
You already know where I'm going.
You are wearing the color of the jersey. And then Elijah. Oh! Hold on. And Elijah is going to go with Eastern Carolina. Okay. All right. Next up, this one I had to throw in. I had to throw in this one because Oh boy. This game's going to be really interesting. Where's it at? Where's it at? Where's it at? Where's it at? Where it at? Where's it at? Ain't no way I missed it. Ain't no way I missed it. No way. Oh
What
shoot.
game are you looking for?
There it is.
Oh.
6:45 p.m. Eastern Time. The UCF Knights travel north to Gainesville to take on in-state rival Florida after Florida has fired Bill Neighbors. And UCF is looking to beat Florida in the Swamp in consecutive seasons.
Mm.
And UCF actually, the line opened up as a 1-point favorite for the Gators. It is now a 1.5-point favorite for the Knights out of Orlando.
Ooh. I can see why you picked this game now. Because in past times, I mean, we'd be honest here, it'd be like, oh, Florida versus UCF, this is going to be a cakewalk for the Gators.
Yeah.
Not so much anymore.
I also missed a game, but we'll bounce back to that one. So let's do this one first.
But is it in the Swamp?
It is in Gainesville, the Swamp.
I don't have a great feeling about this, but I think I am going to go with the Gators, because if the Gators don't win this, there's going to be a lot more going on here. Because, like I say, Napier is definitely on the hot seat, and I feel like if they don't take down UCF, or depending on how the rest of this season goes, he's probably going to be fired at the end of the season. But
so you're picking
Florida, the Gators. Well, and also,
go ahead.
And also, this is a Percy Harvin jersey. Unintentional, by the way.
Y'all know I'm a Big 12 fan at heart. I love my Big 12 brothers that are within the conference. Yes, I hate them when we play each other. But it's always fun to cheer on the conference that your team that is represented at, like, the bowl games, like Kansas State at the Pop-Tarts Bowl, for a good example. It's really hard to pick against the Big 12 here. However, Florida does know how to win close games when it comes to teams like this. But then again, UCF is also coming off a really, really, really bad loss to Colorado, which in a game they were favored by 2 touchdowns. I think this game can go either way, but I'm going to ride with the boys out of Orlando.
Ooh, okay.
I'm going to do it.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
I'm assuming this will be our 4th difference. Alrighty. How about an in-state rival? 2 teams that you absolutely hate, Jake. North Dakota versus North Dakota State. And
they do have lines on.
There is a line for this game. 14.5 for NDSU.
Which makes sense considering last year NDSU lost to UND in not Fargo, but the other big one up there. I should know. I was just freaking there. Is it Moorhead? No, I think that's in Minnesota. No, Grand Forks. Grand Forks. I'm pretty sure.
Checking.
Yeah, because Fargo is where NDSU is located. UND, I'm pretty sure, is Grand Forks.
Maps. North Dakota Football Stadium, right?
UND. Or you can just type in University of North Dakota.
Oh dear God, it's like right near the border. Holy crap. It is Grand Forks, North Dakota. Good job on remembering your name. Remembering your
Well,
college.
actually, we were up there when my senior year in Vermilion. We actually traveled up there. That was our travel, and that was actually one heck of a game. But so yeah, obviously NDSU is still going to have that taste in their mouth of losing to your big rival at home. But now they have to travel back to your place. This game also has a lot of implications on the Mo Valley, which, for those of you who don't know, the Missouri Valley in the FCS is equivalent to the SEC in the FBS. So basically,
Broken
this is
record.
a yeah. But anyway,
Sorry, had to do it.
regardless.
Had to do it.
But am I wrong though, Trev?
No, you're not. You're not. The SEC, the Missouri Valley is basically where all the national championships go, because you have North Dakota State, South Dakota State, and that's literally it. You did have James Madison out of a different conference, but who did James Madison lose to in their last FCS national championship game?
Pretty sure that was NDSU.
It was NDSU because James Madison threw a game-ending pick right at the fucking goal line. I streamed that game. Go watch that game.
Boy.
Trust me, I was pissed. I was pissed because I was actually getting excited that James Madison was driving down, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be a really good ending to this game, and then they throw a game-ending pick.
Yeah, that sounds about right. But with that said, though, I think I'm going to have to go with the Bison because they're at home.
I'm going to have to agree here. Yes, I know the North Dakota Fighting Hawks know how to beat the Bison. Okay, I do have to ask this honest question. Is there a trophy between these two teams? If so, do you know what it's called?
Oh, that I don't know. I want to say there is. Because I know SDSU and USD is known as the SD Corn Showdown. But I'm not 100% sure. And obviously we have the Beef Bowl between NDSU and SDSU, or the Valley Marker.
Hold on. Guys, there is a trophy.
What is it?
It is called the Nickel Trophy.
Oh.
Let us get a look at it. Oh my God, that's awesome! That is sick! Hold up! Hold on. Okay, so open image, and then... Oh, no, not copy. Open image. So here's North Dakota's side.
Because it used to be known as the Fighting Sioux.
Yup. And then here is the Bison side.
Ooh.
And North Dakota currently holds this trophy because they won last year.
Yep.
The Bison will reclaim that trophy. Let me get this back up for you guys. Hold on, I kind of fucked up. So I'm saying North Dakota does get or North Dakota State gets the trophy back. The Nickel Trophy will return to
Fargo,
the south side of North Dakota. Alrighty. And then let's take a look at the predictions for Elijah, because we don't know what he did for North Dakota State, and we don't know what he did for UCF. We know that the differences between me and Jake at the moment, it is going to be between you and Elijah versus me. He is also picking Florida.
All right. So that is our next difference.
Yep. So that is difference number 5. Oh, 4. No, that's difference number 4. All righty.
Oh, yeah.
How about another group of 5 matchup? The other only ranked group of 5 team. And that's going to be think we can fly through this one. Oh dear God, I didn't even realize how big the line was. It is the Utah State Aggies traveling to Albertson Stadium and the Smurf Turf to take on the Broncos. I'm just going to pick it for you because I don't.
Boise State and move on. Boise State and move on. Yeah, I don't think we got to touch this one too long here.
Yeah. Alrighty. How about two more FCS game or two more FCS games? You have the Drake Bulldogs. They are gonna travel. Actually, I have no idea where this game is actually at. Hold on. The Valparaiso. I don't even know how you pronounce this. The Beacons. What the fuck? What a stupid ass name that is.
I think it's Valparaiso.
Valparaiso. The Drake Bulldogs will travel to Valparaiso, Indiana to take on the Valparaiso Beacons. What a shitty name. Like, come on. Beacons? I'm just going to... Beacons. You know, like a spotlight that goes up into the sky? Oh. I thought you said beacons.
Did she think it was the Valparaiso Vegans?
Yeah, that's exactly what she thought I said. For that reason, I'm picking the team out of Des Moines, Iowa. Give me the Bulldogs.
I'm also going to go Drake.
I don't think we need to touch up on this one too much. South Dakota State will travel to Murray State to take on the Racers. By the way, Jake.
You said South Dakota State. That's the next matchup. The University of South Dakota taking on Murray State.
What he said, not what I say. The South Dakota Coyotes will travel to Murray State to take on the Racers. Murray State having a rough year.
Curious, is there a line on this one?
I don't think there is.
Because there was one in the last, not the Valpo game, but the one before that, the FCS game. So I'm just curious.
I'm actually kind of curious. I'm looking. What time is that game at?
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock on ESPN. Sodak is favored by 25.
Give me the Coyotes.
I don't think we need to touch on this one too much.
Yeah, that was a boat race last year when we played them too, so.
Go Yotes.
That actually isn't too far off from how it sounds like.
Alrighty. Oh, dear God. Okay, hold on really quick. Before we go too far, let's scroll down. We're looking at the sheet, right? I just want to make sure we're looking at the sheet. Okay.
You are.
Scrolling over. Elijah has Boise State, Drake, and Sodak. Now,
so literally the same.
So the next games. Oh, I don't know how I'm gonna pick the second to last game. I really don't, because last year or a couple years ago when that game happened.
Well, let's go. Let's get to that when we get to that. We still got one more game we got to pick first here, so we don't get too far off track and forget where we are.
Yeah, and that unfortunately is going to be the Iowa Hawkeyes traveling to Columbus, Ohio, to take on the Ohio State Buckeyes. Oofda. Alrighty.
You know what we should do first, real quick? Check to see what Elijah picked first. He's going to be the first one we talk about here.
Yeah. So let's scroll up because I already know what he has for the rest of this game. I actually didn't even see who he picked for this one. Right. Elijah's got... He is going the smart route. He is going to take Ohio State.
And I'm also going to take Ohio State here just because I think the line's, like 20?
It's actually went down a lot. It's down to... It's down to 18.5. It's actually dropped by a field goal.
Yeah, look, Kirk, Iowa. You know how much it's a lot of fun watching. It's no, I just no. However, if they do win, though, oh baby, that will be you'll see a lot of happy Iowans. But we're also not stupid here. I mean, Ohio State is Ohio State. They're literally championship favorites.
In my heart, Iowa wins this game. However, sheet-wise, I'm sorry. Give me Ohio State. In my heart, Iowa wins this game because I really want to see Iowa actually succeed. I really do. Because Kirk Ferentz, along with the new offensive coordinator, this team looks. We can all say this with absolute confidence. This team looks way better than what last year's team does by a freaking country mile. Actually, by a farmland mile. Let's stick with Iowa on that one. But I don't. If this game was in Iowa, I would probably entertain Iowa winning this game. But Iowa hasn't beaten Ohio State in the shoe since. Oh, I actually need to look this up. I'm actually going to look this up really quick. By the way, fun fact. Did y'all know that Iowa and Air Force actually have a game against each other?
This year?
No. In the past. 1958. 1958, the Air Force Falcons traveled to Iowa City, Iowa, when Ben Martin and Forrest Evashevsky were head coaches of the respected universities. Ben Martin of Air Force, Forrest Evashevsky out of Iowa. That game actually ended up as a tie, 13-13. Little fun fact for you on the day. So the last time Iowa beat Ohio State in Columbus, Ohio. Oh, dear God. I'm going way too far back. Do anyone want to make a guess?
1938.
Oh, not that far. Not that far. If it gives you a bigger hint, Hayden Fry was head coach of Iowa.
So I'm going to say 1985.
85 was Columbus and Ohio State won. You need to go a little farther into the future.
92.
That game was in Iowa City.
90.
That game was also in Iowa City. So smack in the middle. The year my fiance was born. 1991.
94 over here.
Oh, you were born in 90? Oh, shit. She was born in 90. Never mind.
Just ignore that last section.
Ignore that last comment. Ignore that last comment. But yes, the last time Iowa beat Ohio State in Columbus was 1991, 16-9. And Ohio State has dominated the Hawkeyes. I'm just going to throw that out there. Sorry, Hawkeye fans. It's going to get said. But the last time these two teams played before last season, or 2 seasons ago, actually, was 2017 when Iowa dominated Urban Meyer and the Ohio State Buckeyes. Ryan Day was head coach of Ohio State the last time these two teams played. Ryan Day is still the head coach. So, yeah, just a little history lesson for you guys. Alrighty. Oh, God. This game's not going to be fun to pick, but we're going to pick it anyway. 4 o'clock in the Unidome. This game, I think, has a line. It's got to have a line. It does not have a line. It is the South Dakota State Jackrabbits taking on the Northern Iowa Panthers. Now, the last time these two teams actually played each other in the Unidome, UNI almost pulled off the upset, but they had two back-to-back offside calls on missed field goals, which would have won Northern Iowa the football game. And because of both of those offside penalties, there it is. Because of both of those penalties, South Dakota State escaped the Unidome with the win. So, with that said, Jake, do you hate South Dakota State enough or trust UNI enough to actually finish what they couldn't complete 2 seasons ago?
As much as I hate to say this, I don't. And that's nothing against Northern Iowa. I have family that went to Northern Iowa. I was actually looking at going to Northern Iowa if I still lived in the eastern side of the state. But since we moved out to where I am now, I went to USD, which is a lot closer. It just so happened to be in the exact same football conference as them, and we play them every year for homecoming, but that's down the road another week or two. In fact, I think that's actually next week is USD UNI for homecoming. But we'll get to that game when we get to that one. South Dakota State is a wagon right now. Like an absolute wagon in the FCS. Going back to that national championship game, and of course losing to Oklahoma State, which everyone thought, but then just domination after domination after domination. Until South Dakota State loses, I got to go with the Jackrabbits. I got to go with the rivals up in Brookings just because I haven't seen enough out of Northern Iowa that makes me feel like, okay, they're back.
I'm also going to throw this out there, maybe sway your opinion here. UNI's last 2 games were on the road. One of them was in a tough environment, and the other one was halfway across the pond. Lincoln, Nebraska, and then Hawaii.
Kind of interesting that they had 2 FBS opponents this year. In back-to-back weeks, nonetheless.
Yeah. So, I think UNI, I'm probably going to regret picking this. I think UNI can pull off the upset, knowing that this team is pissed that they got dominated by basically the same score in back-to-back weeks by maybe one team they should have beat and one team we kind of knew they weren't going to beat. I'm making the stupid ass decision. I'm going to pick Northern Iowa.
Like I say, nothing would make me happier than to see UNI win. Don't get me wrong here. It's just I haven't seen enough out of Northern Iowa that makes me feel this confident, especially because, again, SDSU is an absolute wagon right now. And until they lose a lot of their players or until another team pops up, who knows? But that's the reason why.
Alrighty. Final game of the week. We got a whiteout in Ames, Iowa, as the Iowa State Cyclones, who are favored by 11. Let's throw that out there. I still need my lock. I just realized that. Who are favored by 11 will welcome in the Baylor Bears, who have not beaten an AP top 25 team in their last 5 attempts. Iowa State, 11-point favorite. And you know what? I wish I could change this to a different color to work with the whiteout. Unfortunately, I cannot. However, the color does still work. Give me the Iowa State Cyclones in my lock, back-to-back weeks, I'm picking Iowa State as a lock.
And while he does that, I'll also quick pick here because Iowa State's amped up. Iowa State's looking like a potential. I'm not going to say Big 12 favorites just yet, but they're getting damn close every week they play.
Oh, yeah.
Just because the Big 12 is so volatile that one loss, one way or the other, could completely blow up and change the complexity of the Big 12. But Iowa State's looking as legit as I've seen them look in a few years. So with that being said, I'm also going to go with the Cyclones.
There we go. And then looking at Elijah's remaining picks.
Go to the sheet, please.
Thank you for reminding me. South Dakota State and Iowa State. I love the fact that I actually was able to get the helmet logo that Iowa State's going to wear this week. Too bad I couldn't kind of white out or get rid of the background. But hey, it works.
Yeah.
So yeah, these are our picks this week. And then really quick before we sign off, guys, what time is it? What time of year is it? It's spooky season. So you know what that means? It's also hockey season. So get on over to my friends at jerseyninja.com. Halloween is just around the corner. Guess what? They now have Halloween polos, ladies and gentlemen. They've got spiders. They've got, I don't know what that is. Yeah, they've got jack-o'-lanterns, they've got bats, they've got spiders. They've also have hockey socks. So if you guys want to spice up your beer league, there you go. And then they also have 3 different jerseys you can pick from. Cobra Kai skeleton, Halloween, where it just says Halloween on it, and an ugly sweater design with a bunch of skeletons on it. Go check them out. Code TMoney2190 at checkout. Save yourself 10%. Not Elijah. Jake, any of these look kind of interesting to you?
I mean, honestly, I'm kind of looking at that Neon Faces one. That polo. That one kind of looks interesting to me.
This one right here?
Mm-hmm.
Neon Faces. This actually does look really nice. Ooh! That does look cool! That actually does look really cool. So guys, these are coming soon. I don't know how soon these will be out. To be quite honest, I haven't been able to reach out to my contact in a little bit. But, oh, I know you do. I haven't been able to reach out to my contact in a while, so I don't know when these are going to be out. But the hockey socks do look really nice as well. So if you guys are interested, jerseyninja.com, use code TMoney2190 at checkout. Saves yourself 10%. Jake, Jake, any final thoughts before we sign off tonight for this afternoon?
Well, hopefully I know last week's games were, for the most part, absolute money. I love, especially that Georgia-Bama game, but that was game of the year for me so far. I just hope that this week, it doesn't seem like there are a lot of great matchups per se on paper, or at least ones that make you go, ooh. But last time I said that, we had Kentucky versus South Carolina, which actually turned out to be the game of the week that week. So what I'm saying is, even with some of these matchups, view them, watch them. You never know. Football is an interesting sport. Any given Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, whatever day of the week it is, any
and
team can beat anybody.
Tuesday, and now it's going to be Tuesday and Wednesdays and Fridays. Well, Fridays are for high school, but I rest my case on that one.
So yeah, basically, I'll just go ahead and say should be a fun weekend of football. We're now into October, so now we're starting to get more an idea of which teams are going to be good, bad, therefore, whatever not. So, yeah, we're finally to October, which is my favorite month of the year. We finally get to see more of who's real and who's not. Plus, we're only about a month away from the CFP initial playoff rankings, which go up on November 5th.
Which is
so
almost exactly 30 days away. 7,
So
13, 28, no, 21, 28, 29, 30. Exactly 31 days from now, guys, is the first initial college football playoff rankings. We're hoping to see Iowa State at least somewhat up there. Us being the Cyclones fans here, Elijah
mhm,
would be like, I don't want to see them, but that's beside the point. He's not here. But
yeah,
until next week, guys, hopefully we actually are a little bit more organized when it comes to picking times. I'm still trying to figure out a place to move to, and I need to get my hair all fixed. So until next week, guys, Jake, thanks for joining me once again. Thanks for joining me once again.
thanks for having me.
And we'll see you guys next week. Actually, we might see you guys. Maybe next Monday, because me and Jake have a video that we need to make regarding the teams we watch in the league that he is wearing in the NFL. Check that out, guys, and we'll see you then.